Hey everyone, welcome back to Rewind and React. I'm Adam El-Tarhuni.
And I'm Rob Fine. And today we are introducing something a little different, a brand new episode format we are calling One Shot.
One Shot is where we talk about an artist that might not have a ton of great music videos we could break down in a full episode, but they do have that one video that hit the mainstream and made a major impact.
And instead of letting those videos fall through the cracks, we decided they deserved their shot too. So buckle up. It is quick, it is focused, and it is a celebration of those iconic videos that help define an artist's career.
Today we are going to cover 2012 hit Gangnam Style by Psy.
오빤 Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. 오빤 Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. 오빤 Gangnam Style.
Yes, Gangnam Style music video is a colorful, surreal, and highly energetic satire of South Korean high society, specifically targeting the wealthy and fashionable residents of Seoul's Gangnam district. The video follows Psy as he dances in a wide variety of absurd and exaggerated settings, like a beach, a playground, a luxury stable, subway station, parking garage, all while performing the now iconic horse dance. Despite the lavish backdrops and flashy outfits, everything portrayed is in a intentionally ridiculous and over the top way, highlighting how artificial the glamorous lifestyle can be. Psy is joined by a variety of quirky characters, including a young boy, aka Little Psy, showing off his slick dance moves, a man in a cowboy hat doing pelvic thrust in an elevator, and Hyuna, a K-pop star who flirts with Psy in a subway car.
This one is fun, and I think we're past our MTV phase. This was, I assume, released on YouTube. When this came out, and I don't even know what you were up to, what we were up to, but what was your thoughts when you saw this for the first time?
Yeah, this is the video that broke YouTube, kind of technically for real. I remember people talking about it before I saw it, saying like, there's this ridiculous video. I think it might be from Saturday Night Live in Korea. Like nobody really knew where it came from and like how it just suddenly took over America. But this was such a odd approach to a video that I think just nobody knew when we're watching it. Are we making fun of it? Are we enjoying it? Like what's happening here? Including Psy himself. Like nobody in Korea expected this to be big over here. Like he didn't think it was gonna like blow up. And so when the video came out, his label's like, "Hey, you got to check out YouTube. We get a lot of really weird comments, and they're all in different languages." And like he's like, I kept having to get people to translate these things for me because I didn't know what everybody was saying. But yeah, huge sensation that it grew into. And I think it's funny when it first came out, everybody was like kind of pointing and laughing at it, but it didn't take long for everybody to be like, oh, I want to watch that again. I want to watch that again. And the song was so catchy. They picked up that, yeah, we can laugh at it because he wants us to laugh at it. It's intentionally over the top and absurd. And who has not tried this dance, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny you say that because I think when was Rebecca Black's Friday released? Was this around the same time?
It's got to be close to the same time.
Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
feel like that, everyone watched Friday and they were making fun of it for how silly it was. So was this just the time period? And we had a lot of those crazy dance anthems. Party Rock was around the same time, I think, maybe a little earlier. But there was this maybe this is the phase of ridiculous music videos and people going online and making fun of things to a kind of extreme extent. And when this came out, it was definitely what's this silliness Korean song that we're watching, but it's so over the top and so silly that you're right. People are like, let's watch it again.
So I got a little timeline for you. Party Rock Anthem came out in January of 2011. Rebecca Black's Friday came out in February 2011. So this came out about a year later. So we were already embracing that goofy video. Obviously, Friday was a little different, where it wasn't
Mhm.
intentionally supposed to be something we all laugh at, but Gangnam Style clearly was.
Yeah, so I think good timing, right?
Mhm.
Maybe if this was released now, I don't know. I feel like K-pop's become so mainstream that it might have just been like lost in the sea of K-pop. But maybe not. I don't know. And if it came out earlier, I don't know. Without YouTube around, would it have been such a like big thing? But good timing, I think.
Yeah, well, so again, they had never intended for this to be big in the US. K-pop had really struggled to get a foothold in the United States market. There's like several groups that tried. SNSD or Girls' Generation, 21, Wonder Girls, Tiara had all like made an attempt to break into the US market. And it wasn't working. And yeah, like I said, Psy didn't even try to do it. It just, once it hit YouTube, the US got a hold of it and that virality happened. It didn't just break the mold to hit a grand slam. It opened the door for K-pop. Search results tripled within the next year for K-pop songs, and they just continued to grow and grow. He laid the groundwork. There was some Korean producer who said he built the bridge to America for K-pop artists today.
Which is crazy because you probably looked into him, but like he's been around for a while before this video or the song even came out. He was a Korean rapper, I think, since the late 90s or early 2000s. So
Yeah, I believe this was his eighth album, actually, that this came off of. He'd already had a lot of chart toppers in Korea, and they did expect
hmm,
this song to do well in Korea. They just didn't expect it to become a worldwide phenomenon. He had a song in some World Cup. I don't even know where it took place, but yeah, he was featured on some World Cup album or whatever. So he was
yeah,
already
maybe
pretty
like a
big.
FIFA or something.
Yeah, he was already pretty big before this, but yeah, this one exploded. And we kind of mentioned that it broke YouTube. This is the first video to hit 1 billion views, also the first to hit 2 billion views. And it actually broke YouTube's counter system. YouTube had to go in and like quickly do some coding changes to handle all these higher numbers because this song had just rapidly started racking up those views. And I think today it's like the third most watched music video on YouTube. Despacito, I think, might be the top one.
Yeah. So, I mean, continuing the views means it has staying power. What do you think? Like, what do you think this video did that made it such a rewatch?
Well, the level of absurdity, I think, in everything he's doing. He replicates what we saw in All the Small Things, the Blink-182 music video that we recently discussed. Even to the fact that he's like, it looks like he's, in a luxurious, I forget what he's actually trying to replicate there. But once we zoom out, we see he's on the toilet. It's the same thing that we
Hmm.
saw in Blink-182's video. I think the song is super catchy. It's got that fun dance that everybody loves to watch or dance along to. And the video is so fast paced and has so much going on. He has just that level of like absurdity that he's having fun with everything. It's a fun watch all around.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the colors are really nice. Like, it's a very bright video, even if it's like a cloudy day in some of the scenes. And you're right, the level of energy I think really helps too because there's a lot going on, but he stays at that high energy throughout the whole shoot, the whole video. And you get those, I think, and some of the things I liked are like the absurd scenes when like he's walking and like the debris is blowing by him and the girls, and then it's supposed to be snow, I guess, but it's like foam and he's just leaning into it and you can even see like the foam's falling in their mouth and they're trying not to laugh and they're trying to like cover their face because they're like what's going on here, but he keeps going with it is really cool. And yeah, I guess hopping into these scenes that we don't know about. I don't know how many old people tour buses that have disco balls, but he's on this bus, he's standing on the chairs, he's singing full force and everything like that while this is just happening.
Yeah, there's like that, it's like a satire of materialism, I guess. He's parodying
Hmm.
these people trying to look rich and cool or important. And the joke is that like he acts like he's living a luxurious lifestyle, but he's in these absurd places doing it. He looks like he's on a beach, but he's actually on an empty playground. He's acting like he's on like a prestigious limo with everything, but he's actually on a city bus. So yeah, it's that Instagram life before Instagram, right? Really, right? Well, I guess Instagram was around, but it wasn't as big as it is now, right? People weren't making careers
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
it.
it's like that influencer lifestyle. Yeah, and you mentioned a good scene. I do like the beginning scene hooks you because you see him in sunglasses, and then you're right, it zooms out to a kid's playground, and he's sitting there like tanning and whatnot, or not even tanning because he's wearing a full suit. That first few seconds really hooks you because you're like, okay, what is this? And before you even process what's going on, it cuts to the next scene and it cuts to the next scene and it cuts to he's riding his invisible horse or doing the horse dance and he's in a stable. These people are walking backwards as he's like approaching them, and everything's just there's so much to happen that you really are just trying to catch up the whole time.
And yeah, he's laughing at himself just as much as he's laughing at society, right? So we get, once again, like Blink 182, we get that self-deprecating humor that makes it feel not mean-spirited, but rather light and playful.
Yeah. And you mentioned, this was planned to be big in Korea, and the main people are all Korean stars. First of all, there's that little kid who's on like Korea's Got Talent that they found, and they're like, oh, let's see if he wants to do this breakdancing or, Michael Jackson style dancing in the video. And then the guy who looks like a minion, who's like in this all yellow suit, he's
Yeah.
apparently a famous Korean, I think, comedian or someone like that's very Yu Jae Suk is the name of the guy. And so I was talking about this during a Rolling Stone article that's breaking down the video, and he's like, "Yeah, we just like kind of improv, and I didn't want to take up too much of his time, so we only did like a few shots and a few scenes, but there were like 30 moves they were doing that were like, well, we can't use this in the video, but they just kind of filmed a lot of it." And then the guy who's doing like the crotch dance is No Hung Chul, and so I said he's like a good friend of him, and he came by actually just to cheer him up and support the music video. And then Sai's like, well, why don't you come in and do your famous crotch dance, and I'll stand under you in this elevator. And that's what they did. And so again, a lot of happenstance that really helped. And then you mentioned Hyuna. Am I saying her name right?
Hyuna? Actually, I don't know if I've ever actually heard anybody say her name out loud, so I might be saying it completely wrong.
Okay. Yeah. And she was from this girl group called 4 Minute. And even he was talking about like when they were filming, she was like, what is this? This is so silly. What am I supposed to be doing? And then once she realized like how much of a joke this was supposed to be, because she's not used to kind of doing these silly things, she really leaned into it and they like all had a good time. So the creation was there created for definitely a Korean hit, but these factors just really like leaned into it.
Yeah. Hyuna, or however you say her name, I apologize to any Korean listeners. She was gigantic at this moment. Previously, we had the group 4 Minute, but she'd kind of gone off and done her own thing. Absolutely one of the most successful female solo artists, like having gone solo from a group ever in K-pop history. We've gotten a few more now with like some of the Blackpink members and everything, but yeah, Hyuna, gigantic. She later released a spin-off of this song called Opa is Just My Style with Psy also in the video. Did you happen to come across that in
No,
your
I haven't
research?
seen that.
So I really like Hyuna. She's great. A lot of her songs are really fun. That one is rough. It's the voice she's doing. I guess she's trying to impersonate a girl who is really into the Gangnam guy, but ooh, that voice that she's doing, it's a rough one.
Good to know. I will say there's an SNL skit with Psy in it. Actually, he kind of makes like a cameo appearance where they're playing Gangnam Style over and over again. And if you can find it, so I will say I couldn't find it on YouTube. I think probably there's like copyrights on the song, but you can find videos of people posting it on other sites. But really cool setup where Keenan and this other guy's like works at Lids, the hat store, and like he's having kind of a bad day, and he's like, I know what'll help, and he presses this button, and Psy comes out, and they just play a little portion of that song, and you're like, yeah, you know what? That did boost my mood, and it's they repeat the joke a few times to great effect until actual Psy comes out and he's like singing. So it was a fun little video, and I think the cool thing about that too is what this made this song is this video such a hit is I don't know Korean. I don't know what the words are saying half the time, but the beat, the music, even this Wapum Gangnam Style, Opum Gangnam Style, you can sing along to that even if you don't know what's going on, and it still has a fun like listen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great without the language barrier. It supersedes the language barrier. Lots of exaggerated body movements, the surprise reveals, like the sauna scene and the elevator shot. You don't need to understand what he's even talking about. It's just such a fun video, a catchy beat, the silly dance that, yeah, you don't need to be able to speak the language to appreciate this song. And I think that's something that makes it great.
I do want to hop back to the sauna scene, or more specifically, the scene at they shot it at the sauna, but the when he's in the pool and it looks like he's struggling to swim. That was a scene they just came up with, and actually, the person in the background is a staff member at the sauna, and they just like, well, who wants to like come and be a part of this background of this scene? And some guy volunteered, and Now he's in a famous video that's been seen billions of times.
Yeah, there you go. Instant star power. I got a little game for you.
Oh, okay.
You mentioned Hyuna's from 4 Minute, a very famous K-pop band. So I've come up with a list of K-pop groups. I want you to tell me if they're real or not. I'm gonna start off easy for you. I'm gonna give you Blackpink.
Real, according to your shirt.
They are real, yes. Blue Gushers.
Fake.
That is fake, yes. Tiara.
Yeah, I think I've seen you with that shirt as well, so I'm going to say real.
They are real. Orange Caramel.
I'm going to say real.
They are real, yeah. Reverb, and it's RE:VERB, all capitalized.
All right, I'm going to say no on this one.
That is correct. That is correct, yeah. Ive, I''VE, all capitalized.
I'm going to say yes, real.
They are real. Wow, you're killing this.
Wow, yeah.
Pump, 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 and it's spelled with a P, a lowercase u, uppercase M, uppercase P, and then X3.
It's got to be real.
That's fake. Haha, I gotcha.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they throw in such weird, like, numbers and apostrophe, or, weird things all over the place. After School.
I'm going to say real.
That is a real one, yeah. Wow, okay. Nextro, NXTRO, all capitalized.
I'm going to say fake.
They are fake. Big Bang.
I got to say real.
Yeah, wow, you're doing so much better at this than I thought. Vivara, VI apostrophe, not apostrophe, VI dash VARA.
I'm going to say real.
Ah, they're a fake one.
Uh,
TKE90, and that's all uppercase letters.
well, since our previous person was in 4 Minute, I'm going to try to say real.
Ah, another fake one.
Ah,
Sistar, like sister with an A instead of an E.
that seems pretty real.
They are real. Crayon Pop, like you're drawing with a crayon.
Let's say fake.
They're real. Yep. They wear these little bicycle helmets that are all different colors. Pi Day, and it's the pi symbol, and then in parentheses day.
Fake.
Fake, yep. And the last one, Hello Venus.
That's got to be real.
That's real. Wow, you did really good at that. I'm surprised.
Yeah, well, I feel like half of it is wardrobe you own, so that helps. And the other half is I feel like they choose like 2 English words for marketing, and like what's 2 English words they can put together that makes it an easy to like market brand seems to be the
Yeah.
model.
Yeah, well, so there's different generations of K-pop, and each generation seems to do something different. So like now the trend is like I''VE is one of the more recent ones that I listed. There's a lot of throwing weird numbers in the middle of a word, or it's not even a word, it's just letters mashed together. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their marketing strategy is. I constantly wonder if it means something in Korean, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, you have to ask once you go to your Baby Metal concert.
They're Japanese.
Blackpink, once you go to your Blackpink concert. Great. Well, then you covered the trivia section. Actually, I was going to have a trivia game, but I'm going to have one trivia question for you. And this is just a single question. We're going to switch it up. So, Psy is our singer here in this video. And the Greek letter Psi is also pronounced the same way, spelled differently. What is the Psi symbol used for in mathematics?
Oh my gosh. Wow, that is tough. I'm gonna say, oh god, I can't even think of what might be. Is it rotational speed? I don't know. I'm throwing something out there.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I didn't know either. There's a couple of things it means, but the main thing I've seen online or read is it's the reciprocal Fibonacci constant. Psi is the sum of reciprocals of the Fibonacci numbers. So
there's
some
absolutely no way of-
mathematician must use it. Yeah. I don't blame you. Yeah, again, like good video. It's funny because I was reading a lot about Psy too, and he started off as a rapper, and his first rap album came out, and he got fined by the South Korean, I guess, entertainment industry or whoever because it was like inappropriate content and it was like a little too extreme for them. It's funny to see now, however many years later, like a decade or 15 years later when he came out with Gangnam Style. Now he's an ambassador to the UN for South Korea and things like that.
Yeah, they're very strict. Like they lock things down and they enforce things pretty harshly in the Korean music scene. I don't love it, but I understand why they do it.
Another thing I'll point out, he's kind of a nepo baby. I guess his father is the CEO of like a large semiconductor company in Korea, and the Korean economic industry, I guess, is run by a bunch of big families, right? Samsung, Hyundai, there's this like these huge conglomerates that really like run a lot of the industries. And so I'm sure that helped him a little bit, but like that's a kind of an interesting thing too, to see who he was and what he could have been, because he went to college in the United States to study economics because he was going to be inheriting the company, and he decided to drop all that and pursue a music career.
Yeah, he was he in Boston College? Is that where he went?
Boston
Somewhere.
University.
Yeah. I saw he later transferred over to Berklee College of Music. So he was like, I'm gonna do my own thing. But then he ended up barely going to class at Berklee and didn't graduate.
Which, it's nice if you're a really rich person, you can do that.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Well, everyone, thank you for listening to this episode of One Shot. Feel free to like and subscribe to our videos, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you next time. So bad. So bad.
Yeah, you should have said sayonara.